So, we've been looking at Modigliani and Picasso's portraiture, and what I want you to do is have a look at the board and have a look at the objectives that we've set for this lesson. Right.
This Year 7 class has been analysing the portraiture work of Picasso and Modigliani and using the styles of the two artists in their own paintings. Louise begins by explaining the first two learning objectives for the lesson, which are for pupils to evaluate their own portraiture work and to continue to analyse the painting style of different artists.
Right, let's go to the third objective.
Apply what we have observed to our paintings.
What does that mean, somebody?
I think look at your own paintings towards Picasso's and Modigliani's.
Right, so how are we going to apply everything we've discussed today to what we're actually doing in our own paintings? Think about using your learning partner for this to help you out. Who's your learning partner?
Craig.
Craig, right. Craig, what could that mean, that last objective?
You could use the colour scheme of Modigliani.
Right, both of you now. What else could you do?
Make the features stand out.
And how can you make the features stand out?
Make them bigger.
Make them bigger, okay? Rearrange them, mix them up. Anybody else want to comment before we move on now?
You can you could put an expression on the face or something to make the people who's looking at the picture think about what the artist was thinking when they were drawing it or painting it.
So, basically, we've summarised everything we've done and what we've learnt so far. And this is when we break up into our guided learning session with the smaller group, while the rest of you are going to get on with your portraits that we started last week. So, referring back to the board, we're all going to be covering these objectives, but the outcomes are going to be quite different within the group. So the people that are going to be painting today, you're going to be concentrating on applying what we have observed to our own paintings. We're going to look at the styles of Modigliani and Picasso and the work we have done in our sketchbooks, and we're going to apply all this information into our own work. And the smaller group, we're going to be focusing more on evaluating what these people have done, analysing why they have done things, and then move in to applying into our own work. Okay, 2 ways that can help you with your work. Well, firstly, who can you ask while I'm working with the smaller group? Your learning partners, okay? And also, what I'd like you to do is read through your written evaluation. You've got all the answers in your sketchbooks there as to why an artist has done what they have done.
Louise checks that all the pupils know what they need to do before beginning to work with the guided learning group.
Right. We're going to look at the prompt cards now, and the reason why we've got these prompt cards is to give you guidelines as to how we can analyse a piece of artwork and then take that information and use it in our work as well, okay? I'm going to place these out on the table, and I want you to think about which would be the best starting point, okay? So we've got subject, content, materials, process, mood, likes and dislikes, and own work. Thank you. Okay, take those in, take that information in, think about the titles, and then read what's underneath each title. And then I want one of you to think and maybe tell the rest of the group what would be the best starting point.
Subject would be the best because it's all about the art and what it's focusing on.
What it's focusing on, okay. Can we extend that a little bit further, Sophie? Can you help him as his partner?
Like on people's faces and portraiture, the way he draws the way the faces what the expression on him and how they're drawn.
Okay, so that being the example, we're now going to move into working in twos with our partners and discussing some of these answers, okay? The outcome of this is for you to be able to talk to your partner, talk in a group, and come up with a bit more in-depth analysis of what we've been doing so far in our work, okay? And what I'm going to do to get you going, to get you started, I'm just going to use an example around this room with one card. So I've just picked this one up, content, I can see. And just looking around the room, I think we'll choose this wall here. I can see buildings.
It's like a collage of windows and doors and clocks and things.
A collage of windows and doors and clocks. But do you understand what kind of statements these cards are going to prompt between the two of you when you start working together now? Yeah?
Content, I can see lots of shapes and the darker background and the lighter on the body and the face. And there's a lot of 3D shapes.
Yeah, well, it makes her look like she's sad, but it's the colours what make her look sad when she's...
So your content is actually what is the picture all about? And you've just said she looks sad, okay? So that is the content because it's the portrait that we're looking at. Jamie, some good answers, but what you're saying, you're talking about more of the colour, okay? And we need to focus on what the actual content is. So the content for this one, for example, would be the shape of her face, maybe the expression that she's doing. What is it that you can actually see, okay?
The thing that I will take from it for my own work is just the way the features are, how different they are, like how, because his eyes, Picasso's eyes don't look nothing like Modigliano's because they're like cartoony and his are serious, and same with all of his features really. Both different.
I'd take like detail and make it my work more detailed and take some of the features off.
Now that we've used those cards, what I actually want you to do next is, with your partner, choose the card that you're most comfortable with, and then we'll quickly go round each set of partners and recap as our short plenary before we go on to the next stage. Yeah. Which card have you chosen?
Likes and dislikes.
Right, okay, talk me through it then.
Well, I like how she's standing in the middle and she's been put in bold with different colours to the background and the features.
But like it could be, like the facial, it could be more moved about, like she could have her arms sort of moved, not just like dead close to her body, because it doesn't look like she's got any arms. So if the lines weren't there, it wouldn't look like she's got any arms.
Okay.
I don't like the colour in the background because it's too dark.
Do you think the artist did that for a reason?
Yeah, because he might have been feeling sad, or she might have been.
Could be. Anybody else? Do you think the artist did that for a reason?
He might like dark colours.
He might like dark colours, but what's the most important thing in that piece of art?
Try and get a certain mood with the colours.
But what? If you have something dark in the background, what happens to the foreground?
It stands out more.
It stands out more, and that's probably what the artist was trying to do with that. Thanks for that, really good. Right, next group.
On this one, I like how all the features like all jumbled up and everything, but I don't really like it how she's got that Anki there, because
It's got no colour on.
it's just white and it takes ages to figure out what it is, really. Because when I first looked at it, I didn't know what it was.
Now, if the artist made that really, really obvious, your eyes would be drawn to that, yes? And what did we say earlier about first impressions and trying to analyse something?
Try and get you, like, think.
And attention.
Every time you look at it, you find out more about it, because if you look at it on the first time, you just see, like, just his face, but when you look at it closely, you can see, like,
In
the
detail.
tears and...
If you're far away, it doesn't look very good. But when you're next to it, it's like, it's got great detail, so you can, like, look at the detail and find out more about it. She's biting.
It does, doesn't it?
And it's like the tone of the colours, they like blended in good as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because it's not all dead dark, some of it's dark and some of it's light.
Exactly, yeah. And like we said before, if you walked into a gallery, you'd see this really nice, bright picture, but it's only when you come up close you start
Thinking what it is.
You start thinking, exactly. Right, now we've finished that section, we're now going to move on to try and apply, and this is where we look at the cards that we've used already as a framework. We're going to look at a brand new piece of artwork that you have never ever seen before by an artist called Frida Kahlo, and I'm going to put these around the picture on the table, and then I want you to feed back to me and talk about it to one another.
You can see like different shapes and plants.
She's unhappy. She's made the sounds look ugly when people usually make the sounds look pretty if they draw themselves.
She's just made herself
Makes it agreeable. The backgrounds.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll share those ideas and views that we've just had and go round, okay?
The subject, I'd say, was self-portraiture, like.
Yeah.
And then on her own work, I think it has influenced my idea, because it's out. Because if it means that she's feeling bad, she drawn it bad, didn't she? Like, because she put thorns around her neck and made her look angry in her face.
Okay.
And the thing I take from this is like the features and how they stand out and shapes.
Now she's done the light on her face.
So let's go back to subject. Right, Jamie touched on it and just said self-portraiture. What other things are going on in that subject? It's not just the lady, is it?
It's like the background and the shapes. And
Background is equally as important, isn't it? Yeah. So let's have a look at the background. What can we see? Leaves.
Leaves.
Okay.
plants and things.
Plants. Are they bright, lovely, warm colours?
Dark and
Cold colours. And what do cold colours represent?
like mood and
Mood, sadness. Okay, let's move on to own work. Jamie said that. What did you say, Jamie, about it influencing your work?
I'd probably
Big
make
painting.
my features look more out and make my eyes like how I feel. If I feel sad, I'd make my eyes look as if they're sad. Or
Right,
your lips and
excellent.
like your tension and your
Excellent. And what would you do?
Well, I'd put the same in as Jamie, and I'd use like a light on her face into my work, and use the same sort of background to how you feel.
Right, okay, so that's interesting, isn't it? Because now we're talking about using emotions and using colours in the background as well as the portrait to represent emotions and feelings. Let's move on to your two cards now.
You can see a
Background of leaves and plants.
the background stands out a lot, not just the picture like, and you can and the flowers in their hair.
And the shapes.
Now, when someone's really, really sad inside, does it always show in what they wear, what the face and things? So the flowers, therefore, could represent her coming across as happy, but her clothes could be really...
That the flowers can like represent her on the outside, but the thorns on the inside.
Okay, so with all this information that you've gathered and everything that you've learnt from this session, you're going to go and get the paintings that you started last week, and you're going to sit together and work out what types of things you're actually going to do to improve the quality of your paintings. So would you like to go and get the paintings for me?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to add loads of detail in for emotion in it.
Yeah, I'm going to put an odd-shaped eye.
Like a square.
Yeah, like something like that. And then here I'm going to put like a circle eye, like a normal eye.
Could use some symbolism like that, but make a symbol of your own.
Yeah.
So it'll be puzzling like. Yeah. Make it more interesting.
Put it down here.
Like, yeah, like your expression. Say it's happy, you could put a happy symbol like a sun or something.
I might use some of the darker, like gold or dark green colours. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me stop the group now. So you all know what it is you've got to do to improve your work. What we're now going to do, we're going to move into the rest of the group, and we're just going to quickly see what stage they're at compared to you. What we're going to focus on for this part of the plenary is evaluating Charlotte's work, okay? And it can't just be one-word answers, because we are analysing. We have that ability now because that's what we've been developing over these last few lessons. So, quietly, with your partner, I want you to discuss Charlotte's work. Okay, 2 lads at the back.
She's done it in block colours.
Block colours, yes. Why do you think she's done it in block colours?
To make it stand out.
To make it stand out. If you could do it differently, if it was your work, what would you do differently?
The right-hand side, not that side, yeah, it's a bit too dull, earthy colour, so I'd make that one a bit brighter.
Yes, but who has influenced Charlotte's work on this side for it to be like this?
Modigliani.
Yes, okay, good. So you can see where her influences are coming from then, yes?
Yeah.
Thank you, lads, well done. Okay, and another pair, please. You two.
I like to tell how she sectioned off her face and put different body parts in every square or shape.
I like how she's put one eye like here and one eye up there.
Why has she done that?
Because it's like the face on this side is facing like a diagonal and on the opposite is facing up.
And which artist does that?
Picasso.
I think it's like a happy picture because the tone and the colours and how they all blend together and that, like, because like all the colours on the face blend together and the 2 background ones do because it's like light and dark, like.
So picking up on the background being light and dark, what's that trying to create within a picture then when something's light and dark?
Well, if you put the background dark, then you can bring out the picture in the front more colourfully and brightly with bright colours.